These are our brand new bit clips. I have printed out so many of these over the last 2 months. Now today we're going to be talking about how they work and all of the different ways that we can configure our CNC tooling storage by using them. This video is going to mainly focus on the easy and cost-effective ways to create bit storage when using these bit clips. As you can see right here, mainly made out of plywood, but an upcoming video is going to have a super duper fancy version that really sparked this whole design in the first place. If you're anything like me, you have more than just a few bits, and some of them were given to me, some of them I bought, some of them I got off for friends. All of mine you can see here actually add up to a retail cost of over $2,000. Yes, that is a lot of very expensive carbide right here. So obviously I would like to display them properly because for some people this amount of carbide is worth more than their actual CNC machine is. The rabbit hole goes deep and it can be very expensive. And y'all been asking for some 3D printed integrations into our CNC projects here on CNC with me, so I thought that this was the perfect way to do it. So I reached out to my buddy Patrick, and I'll have all of his info linked down below, and I told him exactly what I wanted the bit clips to do, and a few days later he had these little guys all modeled up. And funny enough, before this, I didn't actually have a 3D printer, so I reached out to Bamboo Lab and they generously supplied me with an X1 Carbon, and I've been printing with it non-stop for over a month. I haven't even actually turned the machine off. Sometimes I have run it over 30 hours on a single print and sometimes just an hour, but everything in between has worked perfectly. At WorkbenchCon, Patrick scanned me using the Einstar Vega. I'll have that link down below. It is very cool and very expensive. And using that scan, I was able to 3D print a almost 1-to-1 scale bust of my head, which is by far the most vain thing I've ever done in my life, and I have absolutely no regrets in doing so. I've also used it in some more practical ways, like 3D printing a bunch of dragon eggs for our Easter dragon egg hunt. That went fantastic, and my daughter absolutely loved it. Had a ton of those little eggs, and they all printed fantastically. I also printed some holders for some of my video editing accessories. Yeah, video editing accessory, my speed editor. It is fantastic, and it fits perfectly. Editing accessories and a ton of great. I've only actually had 3 failures, and all of those were user error because jumping into something and learning something new, you're obviously going to make mistakes. But don't worry, if you don't have a 3D printer, Patrick is selling these physical bit clips over on his site. I'll have that link down below this video. And I've also got a whole page of CNC discounts and brands that I worked with all in one place. That includes a discount for all of these Golden Jenny bits right here. They're by far the best bits that I've used, made in the USA by an amazing guy who I'm absolutely honored to be partnered with. Use code Hamilton, 10% off. So about 80% way through with finishing the design of these clips and the storage solution, I did a live stream on CNC with me where a lot of y'all told me that you actually mainly use your bits in drawers. And funny enough, I hadn't even considered that option due to being so focused on a wall-mounted cabinet. So we've got one that actually slips into a drawer and the other one that mounts onto a wall. And the nice part is that you can alternate between the two and use both if you'd like. All of this cuts out of plywood with very, very easy assembly. So let's go ahead and break down how the whole system works. First off, you need to start off with some 1/2-inch material. It can be plywood like this, it can be hardwood, MDF, HDP, anything that's 1/2-inch will work with our bit clips. As you can see right here, they just go in and click. Just like that, and then they're not coming out unless you pinch them and push them. So we use our 1/2-inch material to cut our slabs out of. In this we have an 8-hole and a 10-hole version for our bit clip slabs. And the 8-hole configuration fits into our wall cabinet, as you can see right here. And then the 10-hole version gives you more spaces for those who are only using the drawer version. But both the 8 and the 10-hole version work for the drawers. Now, beyond these slabs, everything else that you see here is cut out of 3/4-inch plywood. The wall cabinet version right here, as you can see, fits together with finger joints. All of these pieces just cut out and then I stapled them together, whereas the drawer version is just dropped into a drawer. The drawer version is specifically sized to fit my Harbor Freight rolling cabinet, but the files for this project can easily be moved around to suit the size drawer that you're going to be using it in. I just figured a lot of people have that cabinet, so it might as well be easiest just to go ahead and say that this fits that, whereas I have no idea what type of drawer you're actually going to be using it in. Speaking of which, these files are available right now over on cncwithme.com with both the CNC files and the STL files so that you can 3D print these bit clips. I specifically 3D printed a ton of variations for 1/4" shanks and 1/8" shanks because that's what I used most here in my shop. But I also printed some 1/2" shank ones because I do have this absolutely massive Jenny bit, and it deserves to be seen because this thing right here is right around $100. We have bit clips for metric and imperial shank sizes, as well as for different tubes that your bits can come in. So as you can see right here, I'll pull this one back out. This is an IDC Woodcraft bit, and this is the hog. So we've got the bit, it sits in, and then you can even have the tube slide over it so that you can see what the bit's name actually is while it is still in its little holder using bit clips. We've thought of a lot when it comes to these bit clips, and I'm sure that somebody's going to think of some other configurations for these. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you have a solution that you're looking for that actually isn't in our file pack. If we do have updates needed for the 3D print files, I'll make sure that they're ready by the time that the super duper fancy cabinet goes live in a month or two, so that all the solutions are just kind of there and ready for you. Also, as a 3D printing thing, make sure to print these out of HDP. It's got these little tabs on it that are meant to click in place. And when they're squeezed, they can be used to move to a different location if you want to. So if you don't want that there, you can just move it to the next section over and pop it in and go back and forth, do that as many times as you want. Because being able to move these clips around is kind of the magic of the whole system. Obviously it looks nice, but being able to actually use it and use it the way that makes most sense for your shop is why we made it. And now you don't just have to drill a bunch of holes in a piece of wood. You can put the exact type of bit holder in the exact place that you need it. And if you wanted to be able to create an entire slab with a ton of holes in this for your system, it's very easy to do because the system is very modular. You just take the SVGs that are in this and be able to copy and paste it wherever you want and whatever you're building. A bit clip will be able to fit in as long as the material is 1/2 inch. If you're using the drawer version of this, it gives you a nice secure place for each slab to be able to rest, and it can easily be removed and taken to your CNC machine. The tabs on the very bottom of the clips also make it for a very easy resting place so that when you set it down, it's not going to immediately fall over, and you can just take this wherever you need to and then be able to either, like I said, throw it back into your drawer solution or into your cabinet. Obviously, you could print each of these shank size bit clips in different colors so that you could better identify your tooling, and using a system of colors is something that I'm planning on doing for the very fancy version of this. But like I said, this is the most direct and affordable version of using bit clips, and I know that not everyone wants to always make the most fancy version of things. But that being said, with over $2,000 worth of tooling right here, it makes sense for me to go a little bit of overboard. So I do hope that y'all stick around to watch the super fancy version, but this version I think is what most people are actually going to be making, which is why I'm putting this one out first. So what do y'all think? Your comments will directly shape the final version of this project or any changes that we need to make for this one. So please let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Maybe it's something as simple as you don't want to cut out these slabs and you'd rather 3D print the slabs themselves. But there's a world of difference between additive and subtractive manufacturing, and there are pros and cons of each. If you're interested in CNC routing, check out cncwithme.com, where you can join hundreds of other CNC makers. Y'all's names are flying by on the screen right now, and without y'all, none of this would be possible. And we've now wrapped up the latest challenge this month, and the challenge for May is going to be bit storage. So submit how you're storing your bits, and the winner is going to get a $100 Jenny Bits gift card. If you don't win, just remember you can still save on Jenny Bits by going over to jennybits.com using code Hamilton at checkout, and you'll be able to save a little bit of money. So in the spirit of everybody getting back into the shop and making things again, the next video coming out is going to be making projects to sell using your CNC router. They're going to be simple, fast, and full of profit. So if you're interested in seeing that, go ahead and subscribe down below. I will be seeing y'all very soon. Bye.